On this episode of the podcast, I finally got to sit down with Wesley Pruitt from the Wesley Pruitt Band and get to talk to him about his music, his life, his inspirations, his songwriting, just to visit with him and hear his story. I got a kick out of it, and I know you will too. Also on this podcast, I had Roger Littleton from episode 1 sit in as the co-host, and Roger asks great questions, and I think it's a fun format to listen to, and it was fun for me to record. Before you head off to the episode, please like and subscribe to the podcast. That's the best thing you can do to help the podcast out and grow our audience. Like I said, it took a long time to get this episode recorded just because of one thing or another with Wesley's schedule and mine, although I'm retired and don't really have a job, so I'm not sure why it was so hard on my end. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the episode with Wesley Pruitt. Here we go. So Wesley Pruitt, it's only took a year in the making, but thanks for being on the podcast, making it here to Castle Oaks. Thanks to our co-host, Roger Littleton. Roger's been on the podcast before. He's done some Spartan race recaps with us and just sitting around bullshitting. Tell me about your first musical memory.
That's going to take us back.
That's where we're going to go.
First musical memory. Does it matter if it's me trying to play or just music?
This is your show.
I have told this story, and I don't even try to figure it out because how I can remember and then looking back from the past. But I've told this story on a few podcasts. I was my dad's first boy, and I can remember at such a young age of being driven around. The place where I live, it's called Wynn Community, just a small little neighborhood. But growing up and then being able to just trying to figure out where all this came from, I can remember, oddly enough, just music that he would play. And I didn't know who B.B. King was, and I didn't know that was a tape of B.B. King at that time, but I can remember riding with him, listening to music at a very, very, very early age, as a baby.
I mean, that's my first one is my mother always had the radio on.
Mm-hmm.
She always had something playing. Every month we got the RCA. She was on the deal where you would ship them. You would get a new album or 8-track or cassette or whatever. I can remember everything around music was, you'd find her in her store. She'd be singing to whatever was playing on the speakers. My first one is by American Pie.
Mm-hmm.
In the back of an old Ford Falcon, and she was singing and we were singing too.
Ain't it cool that you can remember that far back? Something like that?
It's faint, but I can, it's still in there.
And it gets fainter? Is that a word?
It does get fainter.
It gets fainter.
I didn't know what the color, it was light blue writing. I didn't know what light blue was at such an early age. Mm-hmm. But when I learned what blue was and you start seeing like the deja vu moments. Mm-hmm. And then there's that tape that he still had. Okay. And then I can start listening to it because by then I'm really trying to start playing music. Yeah. And that was that tape. And he was able to confirm the story because he rode me around in diapers.
You always had
81 Chevy pickup.
Now, when you say blues, that you're talking about the style?
B.B. King.
B.B. King. Okay.
It was a cassette tape. And but the writing on it, the font was light blue.
Oh, okay.
But so I didn't know that then. Yeah. I couldn't tell you what blue was, but that's cool. That's the first memory.
Now, what year did you graduate? You went to Canton?
Yes, okay. Graduated 2001.
2001, okay. I would have graduated. I went there in grade school, first through fifth, and then the very first part of sixth grade.
Wow. I don't think I never knew that.
Yeah, I graduated in 81.
81, wow. I wasn't born yet.
What year were you born?
I'm your daddy.
1982.
82. Okay.
1982.
See?
So you're not much older than our kids, but
I always tell people I'm on my second life.
Second life.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It's just something I developed. I guess I would say when we used to play the Van Zandt Country Club, and this was probably around age 18, 17 and 18. I guess I was lucky to be able to start playing professionally so early. But in playing that venue, there was a lot of older women. This is really where that came from, and older men with both parts of the story. But they would always say, you too young to be playing music like that. What did you know that from? After months and months of hearing this story, I had to make up something. And which, for my age, and even now, you don't see young people doing a lot of blues. It's very rare you see young people. And I started telling them, I said, well, this is my second life. I was born in 1947, and I died in one of the riots during the Civil Rights Movement in 1965. And I was born again in 1982.
Okay.
And they would make the face and silence. And I started telling that story, and they quit asking that question. So anywhere I went, when they asked that, I would tell that story.
I'll never ask that.
It was in. But if I can tell you one more story with that venue.
Stories.
Now, when I brought up the older women, and we probably was a little too loud. Back then, the Van Zandt Country Club was a smaller room, and it actually was more closed in, and you had, I guess, kind of like a steel floor. And
Is it back where the
it's
bigger eating area is right now? So you walk in.
no. So that used to be the small bar area.
Okay.
And there used to be a glass where they have a wall now. That used to be a glass doors that separated it with the walls enclosed.
Mm-hmm.
And then to the right of that is where they had the dining room where we ate, and that's where we played in the back corner, like the southeast part of it. So more often than not, someone or someones with an S would say, y'all sound so good, but could you just turn down just a little bit?
Yeah.
Every show, pretty much. Well, I got to where I learned something. There was times where they said that where I know we were way softer a month and a half before the last show.
Yeah.
So I got to where I would turn my guitar amp up a whole about half to 3/4 notch, which would make that a lot more volume. What it was, as long as I just did their request and touched something, and they saw that I was trying, I don't know what they were thinking, but I would just touch something. If I did that, I always turned it up. They were happy. And it worked because they saw me touch it, or they saw somebody go touch the PA deal. We were probably needing more vocals because back then I wasn't even singing with monitors. Mm-hmm. I had no idea what monitors were. I didn't know that I was flat more than what I should have been. But that's how it worked. Just good memories of the early shows I used to play.
How hard is it to make a living as a musician?
I don't think, there's probably not enough words in the actual vocabulary. Hard is such an understatement.
It is.
But at the same time.
What does it take to make a living like that?
And so in answering that, it's hard, but what isn't at times?
Hard is what makes it great, right?
Exactly. For me, things have changed, though. But I'll answer that question, let's say, before having a child, because there was a time where I think right around when I met you guys at some of those shows, would you say early, maybe 2014, 16 maybe?
Maybe some of that, because I know we saw you play with Heather up just off
at the winery or the beer place. It was craft beers.
Yeah, a little bit of something for a while, and we saw you play
those were some
there.
earlier days then, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for a while, as a bachelor, and then being a full-time musician, I wasn't super, wealthy. Right. But we were doing okay to where I made a really good living at it. Okay. One person and can have a truck and can travel and vacation. Yeah. But those were times where I have paid my dues before then too.
Sure.
But things definitely get harder when you grow your family, and other things can happen, and for me, my personal way is, if you're going to be with, a woman and grow your family, I guess just the way our customs are, and the way I'm brought up, the man has to do more to provide. Mm-hmm. And while I was still doing very well with music, I let my eyes see other things of ways to, I love this. It's been a career. It's never going to go anywhere. So what else can I do to supplement different income to where that's less like work, and I can kind of rejuvenate and just love it more? that happened probably right around 2019 part. So it was such a huge shift, and it became less hard because it came more of just something that I love to do. Although it was still career number one, I had to bring something else in to supplement.
You think it was just not pushing so hard at it and just realize the world was, your world got a little bigger and you said, okay, I can do this and that. I mean, it's just, you can get so laser focused on
Yes.
something that it's just, you don't even realize what's happening right outside your vision. My wife told me she was gonna move out when the kids were little and I was studying for a test, you know, in fire department. And she said, I was just gonna go live with my folks. She goes, maybe come back some point later when you were,
Yep.
you know. And then
Yep.
she said 2 weeks after that, she goes, I can't imagine I ever felt that way, but man, you were really an asshole.
You know, that story, your story is a story that I've heard a lot of times, because people with passion, that have a passion, sometimes there's a choice that you have to make. You have to make. And with a family, you know, those things, you've got to bring your child into the world and point the direction. So you have to make those. I made the same decision sometime, and my brothers did. You know, you have to do that just because we're men.
Yep.
I guess I'm older than you, of course, but but it's impressive that you have that same mindset. You don't see that a lot anymore.
I agree with everything both of y'all are saying, and I don't think I've always would have been that way. And I'm saying that and I'm probably going to say this more than once. I was bragging about how this ended up being the perfect location to do this. But I can take a moment as this one, and my mind is always at a point to where I want to let things flow. So that means when a day like this happens and it aligns so well, I am so great to be in y'all's company. Because y'all are saying things, and we're kind of segue into where you said your wife was, well, she was going to leave for 2 weeks, or she was going to leave, whatever, how you said
Just go
that,
live
she
with
left.
folks for a while, yeah.
And talking about what made me try to, well, I shouldn't say try, I've done it, was to start another career. I was looking at the girl that I was with at the time, and we talked about marriage, and our family would have been a family of six of us. Xavier and I, her, 2 boys and a girl. So that's a huge difference from he and I,
Yeah.
2 to 6. So I remember a conversation that we had, and I remember how she wasn't really struggling, but it was going to be a struggle just to provide for Christmas. And it hit me, kind of what you were saying. I've had a child, but now I'm looking at growing, and I knew right then, like, my music can't. I'm not at a level to where it can take care of a family of 6. I took a risk. I went out and bought a big truck, knowing that I've always had a thing for windshield time, and I thought then I was going to be able to start a company to where I could start hauling cars. Now, I'll leave some of that out, but that's when my second part of the career actually started. Now, I made it officially legal by 2020 because of COVID hit, and I'm looking at what the hell are we going to do? All of us everybody's hurting, but musicians, we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I studied and got my CDL. 2 years later, at Speed Transportation was on the road. I named it after my kid.
Okay.
You know, but it was all starting out to see, like, I have to have something. That's my passion. Something has to supplement to take care of my son and I, and if there's going to be with more kids and a wife involved. And that's what I did. But it's grown, and I've learned, and here we are.
There you go.
It happens.
I bought a big
It
rig
happens.
So
too.
then, it's crazy how.
See?
where you-
I did. I
See?
bought a big rig
Yep.
back
Oh,
then.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Turn that sucker over.
Roger maybe is one of the most interesting guys in the world. Now, we could spend an hour and he would tell you what he does,
Mm-hmm.
and then at the end of the hour, me and you'd be looking at each other and like, what the fuck did he say?
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
It's all energy. It's all energy coming off each other.
He is an international man of mystery. Really, that's what he is. So,
Good.
Customs broker, international trade and trade law. After being in construction, plumbing, owning a truck, laid that truck over in the oil field. I'm just old, man.
You very, very experienced. Totally dig it.
But it's kind of interesting. I'm hearing you, and a lot of our stories are parallel, and it's cool. It's really cool.
Thank you. It's the balances.
It is.
That's what really does it. You've got to learn that balance.
Yep.
I want to watch you play music all the time. When I just the Texan and just going places, being able to see you and go places. I see TD when we go to the Texan and they've got the Tom Petty tribute band, or whatever it is. I mean, it makes me feel so good, and I think that's why my wife goes to so much time and effort to set up our calendar for music. And she knows if I'm in a funk or whatever, turn on the Bluetooth speaker and music fills the house, and then all of a sudden you're singing to something or bawling to something. I bawl at so many songs, it's crazy since I've became an old man. I cry at the drop of a hat.
I don't call it crazy,
song.
but I feel you on that.
Yeah, me too.
There's a lot of songs about women on
Yes.
that Gypsy Soul.
Yeah.
Is that over time? How long? So
It was from about the time where I was not being a bachelor, so it was right around 2012 going into 2013, all the way up to 2020.
Okay.
That's that album's story. There was women in there. That's
Always.
And the cool part about that was my first time being able to go to the studio and not even worry about really as much, because I guess I would say, obviously, most musicians or even other professions, we're normally our worst critics.
Right,
You know,
sure.
I was I felt a very strong connection that I needed to tell a story, my story. Mental health became big to me in 2018, well, 19 as well. And that's where I learned the word balance. And that's where I learned that all of what you do, burning those candles, not just both ends, northeast, south, and west, you've done it, you've exhausted yourself. Somehow you have stayed successful, but you've burned yourself out. You have to learn how to keep a calendar. You need to learn how to not really maybe laser focus, but you have your child, you have a career, balance. And actually mark stuff off as you go. So that album, that way, I was able to tell a story. It wasn't really about just the part about the music being perfect. I felt that I told my story and also highlighted mental health in that. But there was women along the way, so that's a part of the story.
Where does the mental health come in?
It took a,
Yours?
yeah, yep. Yeah, it took something really, really, really hard of learning that I couldn't get past this by myself. And thankfully, I'll say his name, Calvin. Calvin's been with me for almost 20 years now. It's the longest running bandmate. Calvin Sheffield's bass guitar.
Bass player?
Yes.
I love watching the bass players, man. He's good.
I've developed this saying of saying he's my right-hand man, but he and I have really been through really dark times together. In our early days, we were like bulldogs, alpha males locking up. We never fought, never hit each other. And of course, both families love each other. But the point I'm making is he recently went through a divorce around the time where I had a really bad breakup. And his age been 2 years ahead of mine. He's been 2 years ahead of me on mental health part. And I hit a wall. I could not get out of this huge funk. I was a different person. I didn't recognize who I was.
Kind of like that video?
That's Cocaine and Whiskey is a little bit before that.
Okay.
And I've told this on one of the recent podcasts. I'll tell that story again of where that song came from. But he recommended the same therapist that he went to, and that's where my mental health journey began. And wow, we suppress a lot without even knowing it, right? Over all the years.
Right.
And
You think music is a release for that, or does it? I mean, I guess it can make it better or worse.
I don't remember where I learned this from. This is something recent to me, which the band and we've been working it out. I think it was before our first Peace and Love Unity tour. Music always should have been a release for it. But even as a musician, until recently, I was able to always see that music healed the audience. And I always had such a great high and a feeling from playing it. I've always had a feeling to play it. And I thought that is what music was supposed to be as a musician as well, healing from the stage to the crowd. I don't know what artists I ran across, might have been even on YouTube. It was some big name band. It was one of the artists. And he described in his 40s, he learned this from another musician, was when we're on stage, drugs, whatever your mind is on, alcohol, all that stuff should never exist, because when every musician, the unit, is performing and allowing that musical wavelength to take you guys somewhere, that's what heals you. You don't even worry about trying to put on the best show and trying to hit these licks or trying to read the crowd. When every unit is letting the music play through them, then you guys get even more healing. I've recently just learned this. And I've maybe 16 months till now of trying to master that type of playing, because I never knew it existed. But now that we have, now I understand what less is more is.
Okay.
I don't always do it, because sometimes I really feel a lot coming out of me. So I'm going to play more faster with it. I'm going to play a little bit more. But my energy level is not near as depleted. You've seen me play.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what I looked like, but I didn't know I was tired after every show, but I could do it 3-4 times straight. It was fine.
Yeah.
Now, I feel 5 times better after a show. I'm sweating, but my energy level is maybe a little bit depleted.
I imagine it would be a pretty big high.
It's healing now. It's most of our shows. We're learning. It's all the guys that I play with. We've all played shows together for years, but that's what we've adopted. I wish I would have known this 25 years ago. But we're healing ourselves, and the audience is getting what it's supposed to get even more.
Mm-hmm.
That type of healing. In the shows.
Is there an emotional component to it? In other words, when you're hitting that lick, and you know that you're on, is there an emotional feeling that you get?
Yeah.
I broke down in tears before.
And I'm feeling more of what I didn't know that I was missing just a couple of years ago.
There you go.
So that emotion it's heightened.
There you go.
You know.
Do you think you just have to age into that?
I
mean, part of it. I mean,
I do.
because as we
I do.
age, I mean, different things happen.
Yeah.
So you got more experiences, and then it's not power down and
No.
just balls to the wall, like whatever wreckage comes about,
Mhm.
is the way it goes. But it's we were talking about Stevie Ray. He used to handle Stevie Ray's mom.
Oh my gosh.
It was
Oh,
hilarious.
Oh,
I was his broker, customs
is-
broker.
gosh.
He's handled the Beatles guitars, not handled them, but
I know what you
made
mean.
sure
Yes.
and
Yes.
he's one of the world's most interesting men.
I'll get to hear more stories as time comes.
But I don't know where I was going with that. Now, see,
Well, about aging into something.
yeah.
Edging into the emotion.
It would have been so interesting to see what a Stevie Ray, if he was, whatever, 75 now,
Oh,
or or John Lennon, or Elvis, anybody like that, you always lose lots of people in everyday life, people die young, but it would be interesting if you could do an alternative universe and see what they would be like, what they might have done, had they still been around.
and I think about it, but the answer is yes. You do age into it. I know you can speak on it as much as way more than he and I can. So, but I think you're right. I think you do age into it.
Yeah.
And you just realize your world broadens a little bit, and you realize it's not the things you think were important.
You look at a grandparent,
Yeah.
and I wonder, like, you didn't let me get away with all that stuff. But then they'll when you get to talk to that older person, mine has been my dad at a certain age before he passed, and even my mom, which sometimes we'll clash still, because I still like to have a little bit more of a strictness. But they're so much more relaxed with the kids, and they learn from their mistakes. They were probably too hard in those areas, and they aged into knowing that, well, I didn't really have to parent that way, didn't I? So I think that goes with everything in life. Some of us get their way later, some never do. But again, I credit mine to mental health. Just learning how to balance things was such a big change for me too. That's personal. The music part, learning how to heal on stage and just let it go, let it flow.
I like to sing. I mean, I used to play the drums. I started the Canton band in 5th grade, playing the drums. I wish I could remember the name of the band director. He had red hair. I remember that.
Oh man, I wonder who that was.
But this was
early days of band. Yeah, early days of band. I've seen pictures. I think.
I did. They had a trap set in there, and I was, he's on. And my biggest downfall was I could read music, so I learned. So they always stuck me on the bells or the timpanis or something like that. But I always loved the drums. So I've tried the open mic stuff because all I want to do is sing. Maybe beat on a box or something like that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants an open mic guy that's beating on a box
and singing, right?
I tried it and just singing acapella. I tried it at Wind Down one time. It's like, all right, next. But to get to the point where you can actually show emotion through an instrument, like you do, like a lot of professional musicians done, that's a big deal because I try to display it and there's no feeling into it because I'm concentrating. What's that next note? What's that next chord? Oh, what's that line I got coming up that I always forget? That sort of thing. But just need a few more million reps. I would have it down.
I guess reps and a little performing because the very first time I played in the jazz band, junior year in high school, I guess this would have been a year somewhere between 99 and 2000, I guess. Very first note that I played on, the song was called Low Down, I think Low Down Slow Blues, a jazz chart. And my first note was a B flat that I hit on the high E string, and I learned B.B. King's vibrato. I guess that stuck with me through growing up. And he shook his hand like this, and that's what I learned how to do, and I liked it. Mm-hmm. But when I hit that note, that whole song, my hand kept shaking like this. I was nervous, and I shook, and I made it through the song, but I trembled so much. I still get nervous before every show now, a little bit.
First song that I had a band back in high school. The first one that I did was Low Down, but it was by a different.
Look at this.
But it was by a different. It was by Chicago. So,
love Chicago. Chicago.
That was my first performance.
Gosh, man, so too cool.
What's the first concert you ever saw?
Let's say professional. Professional concert. It was one of my best friends. His name's Ron Stone. Was I a senior yet? I had to be a senior. Talk about green. We went up to, at the time, I think it was called Smirnoff. It's changed names so many times,
Fair
right?
Park.
Is it? Well, that's the area, right?
Yeah. Amphitheater.
And we bought lawn seating to B.B. King and Friends.
Okay.
And so from the top, you had B.B. King. I didn't know who the hell Buddy Guy was then.
All right.
But I did see him, just didn't know his name. Because if it wasn't B.B. King or Stevie Ray Vaughan, that's who I ate and slept for years trying to play like. But you had Buddy Guy, and you had Susan Tedeschi, didn't know who she was. I knew an Average White Band. They played somewhere up in there. I knew about them, with horns. I think 3 or 4 more acts. So 2 little senior high school students are walking into Fair Park with lawn chairs. Didn't know you couldn't bring your own lawn chairs. Lawn seating, I'm going to bring my own damn lawn chair.
You got a lawn, I got a chair.
Oh boy, we get to
the ground.
we get to one of. It's not where you give them your tickets, but you're walking in. You got those security stations. There was a couple of women in here, and they said, young man, where you going with that chair? I said, oh, we're going to the concert. We got lawn seating. She said, you can't tape that chair in there. I said, what do you mean? It's against policy. You have to get a chair inside of the concert. Didn't even know that was going to cost as much as it did either.
Yep.
Long story short, this is Dallas. Y'all know where Fair Park is, and I asked them, could y'all watch these till the concert is over? Oh yeah, sugar, we got you. So we go into the concert, give the tickets. Then I discovered this little bitty lawn chair that you spend about $25 for, or you can sell in a blanket. Well, we bought lawn seating, so we had to get the chair. That was a good concert. That was a really good concert, and that's when Buddy Guy became my idol then. Because BB was still standing up. He was still BB King. He sat down probably half of the concert. Susan Tedeschi blew the roof off, but Buddy Guy, it was like a volcano. That was probably and it's probably still one of the best concerts I've ever been to. And those chairs were still at that security station when we left.
Really?
Yes.
Right there.
So
That was a long time ago.
that was 99 into 2000, somewhere around there.
Somebody would have sold those if it happened today.
It was on a Sunday. We got in late. I remember I drove. Went to school Monday, still on a high from that.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the
stuff.
first paid concert.
Good stuff.
What about you, Roger? What's first?
Three Dog Night.
Where at?
Dallas.
What year?
What
Convention
year? At the convention center, yeah. When it was still standing.
Yeah.
What was it? 70?
Okay. Mine was Three Dog Night as well at the Dallas Convention Center.
We were there together.
Around that time, we might have.
We were there.
Y'all might have went together. Right?
God, I love those. Like you said, the bands that put on a show. They had singers, they had horns, they had.
Oh, yeah.
When he said Chicago. Woo.
Yeah. Chicago, that's what my band did. We did a lot of Chicago stuff. And we had some, incredible musicians. One of them actually went to play in the Boston Philharmonic. He played the trombone. If you know Chicago, that's Pankow. Pankow can,
That's stellar
that guy,
band.
Stellar, yep, absolutely.
My first date with Melissa was, that's probably how I only got the date, and it was to see Sammy Hagar.
He still goes.
Wow. Reunion Arena, February 18th, 1983.
And when was the last time you saw?
Sammy?
Mhm.
Uh,
A couple months ago, wasn't it?
it was September.
Yeah.
Yeah. We go see Sammy.
He's still rocking, man.
He is.
He is still rocking.
Paul throws him a T-shirt and it's got about
Oh, yeah,
18
I got
signatures on
pictures.
it.
The first time I did it, it was after COVID, and he was actually playing at Choctaw, and so we went. I had my daughter-in-law make me a shirt that said "First date, 2/18/83, Sammy Hagar, Dallas, Texas, still rocking." That's what the big print on there. So I wore another shirt under it, and then he was on stage. They started playing and everything, and people started throwing stuff up. And finally, I threw mine up. He kind of held it up, was looking at it. He said, "All right." Then he just threw it over his mic stand. And like 20 minutes later, I said,
Am I gonna get my shirt back?
"Hey," he thought it was a gift.
He had to have.
And then finally, he took it. Finally started signing stuff, and so I've got it signed like 3 times now. I take it, throw it up, he signs it. The last time he didn't sign it, but he held it up, and everybody just, it's it's on the big video screen.
Yeah.
First day, so.
That is awesome. Wow. I gotta pull some of this stuff up.
What, if there's anybody that you could see music-wise, alive or dead, who do you think it would be?
Dead has always gotta be Stevie.
Yeah.
Like so many of other guitar players, but he's the one that lit the fire.
Yep.
And
You remember the first time you heard it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Then he and it was I don't compare guitar player, especially now that what I've learned, but I guess when we're all trying to just see who we want to be like and learn from, it was the connection for me was B.B. King. And I had a stepbrother that always said, man, I used to hang out with this boy. And he really did. They were in Dallas together. And he's a bad man, you got to hear him. And he couldn't think of his name for some reason. How? I don't know. Yeah. Well, he did a lot of things that messes with the mind. And it just couldn't come to him. And so when I was, I think I was a freshman in high school, maybe 8th grade. It was 8th grade maybe. A friend of mine he let me borrow a recording on VHS, and it was B.B. King and Friends. Now, I saw that years before on TV when it came out, some of it, with the commercials and everything. He let me borrow it. And that's when I remembered, I wonder if that was the guy that he was talking about. So it was Albert King and Stevie Ray Vaughan playing together. I didn't know his name back then, but as a freshman, okay, December of 1997 is when my dad had an electric guitar refurbished. He gifted it to me Christmas Day, 97, which is when I really started playing guitar. Mm-hmm. Guess who I was into then? Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. And the rest is history. Because everything that he did, I was trying to learn. And I correlated those videos from years ago. Well, B.B. King was still a favorite, but then it was Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah. But that's really what made me give all I could give to start playing guitar. Like, he lit the fire and just went with it. Yeah. I would love to see him in concert just one time. Thankfully, YouTube and all these videos that are out now, you can mentally I could be there, but live is just a little bit better,
For sure, you
get the full part of it.
Yeah, feel it in your chest. Yes. I love sitting close.
I think you get more of exactly what's coming off that stage when you're up close.
I saw Elton John on his first trip to Dallas, and it's when he was doing Funeral for a Friend, and we were pretty close, and it was just incredible. Yeah. And then this last time I saw him on his farewell trip in Dallas, and he mentioned that time. He said, I've only been here, this is my second time. He said, the last time I was here, we was over at the Cotton Bowl, and that's where it was. And we saw it, and I spent half my time watching the big screen because I was way over on the side. But, hey, I appreciate I had a friend that actually gave me the tickets. And
you got to go.
Got to go.
Yes.
It was good. His farewell tour.
Another great artist.
Yes, I'm going to tell you, yeah.
Who did you see, live or dead, one time?
My brother was awesome.
What kind of music did he play?
Any kind you wanted.
Musician.
He was like almost a prodigy. And he played like, I throw out a number, and I can't remember which one's true, but it was like 8 different instruments. He played the tuba, he played the trombone, he played the trumpet, he played the piano, he played the guitar, he played the bass, the stand-up bass.
Yes.
He was all-state choir, all-state band 4 years in a row.
I think prodigy fits.
Yeah, the boy was singing. He was my hero as far as my music stuff. And it was kind of, I'm not going to say it was sad, but I'm getting emotional.
It's okay.
He never made it when he passed away, 2018. God, he could sing.
He was, how much older was he than you?
Let's see. He was born in 49, and I was born in 53. But, boy, he could sing. And got a picture of him with a ukulele back when he was about 6 years old, singing. and my oldest sister, she's still alive, but she lives in Albuquerque, and she used to tell us all about that, about what she even remembered the song that he sang.
Oh,
so
really?
it was
That's
cool.
pretty neat.
He wrote the song that, Michael Murphy wrote the song that my brother sang at mine and Benita's wedding. So that was pretty cool.
What's the name of the song?
The Two of Us.
Wow. Wow.
It was cool stuff. And my oldest sister, played the piano while my brother sang. Music's life. Music is life.
Yes.
Speaking of writing songs, why do you think people that are older you never hear of them writing new songs like Paul McCartney. Do you think that time you were talking about when you're just headstrong and hard driving, you're fighting against something you don't even know what it is, and that you're just writing songs about it, and at some point when you've made a little bit, do you run out of ideas? Does it just not interest people anymore? Or, because you never hear somebody like that coming out with a new album, or, having a songwriting credit, or...
I'm thinking, I can speak on my behalf, but I've never even thought about that question when you mentioned someone like Paul McCartney, or can't say Elton John, because I don't know. Well, I know he was doing something new within the last 3 years. I don't know if he wrote some of those songs or not. But speaking on my behalf, I've never really considered myself primarily a songwriter. I wouldn't say that about Paul McCartney, because he's written songs over the years. So I'm not sure why someone like that doesn't as much. Maybe because they play so many fewer shows and they don't want to have to, which he wouldn't have to push an album.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave him off, because it's hard to say why for him, because it's Sir Paul McCartney for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
In general, but
That's what I'm thinking, in general.
Like Def Leppard. If I go see Def Leppard, it's all the great stuff they played for like a window of time.
But they never play anything new.
I haven't seen him in a while, but not. Bryan Adams, he's still putting out albums, and
he's a writer, right?
Yes.
I don't know why some artists wouldn't. It really does. It does make me wonder if it's a case of them just not wanting to anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know for me, and I don't call it writer's block anymore. If it's not flowing through me, I just won't put it on paper.
Yeah.
I very rarely force anything out, even if I'm writing with somebody else. My thing now, for me, it has to be such a perfect fit. I'll still get ideas here and there, and 95% of the time, it's in the phone that I'll transfer to paper, or if I'm at the house, I'm writing it out.
Right.
And I used to beat myself up if I didn't get a complete song, because my favorite songs that I did sing over the years, Cocaine and Whiskey is one of them, those songs just flowed out. So it had to be on paper. Anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes, the majority of it was written, and I would tweak as I go. I think the artistry of what I like to write now, I don't even care what style it is. It comes out, either the music first or the lyrics. More often, it is like a little jingle that I'm hearing with some lyrics with it. But for me, I don't think that'll ever stop. Yeah. It's not near as, I don't say it's near as great as someone like Heather Little or Meredith Crawford, because to me, not only are they amazing and beautiful singers, but they're also awesome songwriters. I don't consider myself that, but I still have ideas that come sometimes. Yeah. Now, when they do flow, there has been, I think, 2 songs just last several months, last 12 to 16 months, that flowed like that. But for me, it hasn't just flowed out, but I still get the ideas.
Do you mostly write like by yourself, or do you?
It's mainly me.
Okay.
I do have a songwriting partner that we haven't. Life has took us different places. I know he has a child and a different job. It's an excuse, but for me, I like to be able to try to schedule something 2 or 3 times a year where I can get away for a few days and just see if something does come out. But most of the time for me, it's been solo, or I'll send a verse to somebody and say, hey, can you add to this?
Right.
I think Heather has one of my songs from a year ago that I need to revisit myself and then see if we're able, because I've always wanted something with us 2 on something together. It'll happen when it happens. I don't need to force it. Right. But Chris Newsom is the guy that I'm talking about. He and I, we wrote Poor Man Blues together. We wrote Thief in the Night together. We got some things we didn't finish. But we do jive very well when we are. But we haven't been able to get together in a long time. Just such separate paths right now.
If you had to choose one, would you rather be a great performer, on stage, or just a great songwriter?
I think performer.
Absolutely.
Because that's me. I think that's a really huge part of the purpose is, I'm not a preacher, but I have a message through music and through the words of peace, love, and unity. Yeah. It's the hardest thing for me to always follow, but I feel that. I wake up with it and I see it. And that's the message that I push. And for me, it's through performing. But who knows?
Right.
There's more songs
You don't-
coming.
You don't have to choose.
No,
You don't have
no.
to choose. That's the
But
whole
I know
deal.
I'm not primarily a writer.
Right.
And there are primarily songwriters.
I always like to look at that, if you find out of a song, like George Strait, or somebody like that
Yeah.
has
All these
all the
hits.
songs, and to my knowledge, I don't think he's a performer. He didn't write many.
There's, I think there's one or something that he does have credit, and I don't want to misquote that.
Yeah,
But I know there's not many. Most of his hits, if not all, he didn't write.
yeah. You drive a truck all week?
I haven't been driving much at all lately. That's been a little bit of a struggle.
Okay.
But it's well, with me, I had really good verbal contracts to begin with, and a lot of that changed the last 6 months, and it hasn't resurfaced. There's always work out there to drive, and I don't have any anticipation now, even though it's been slow, that where I need to be gone. I want to be around and be a dad as much as I'm able. So that part of the balance is always first. The shows go around that. If I need to be gone for 2 or 3 days, that's fine.
Okay.
But
Where do you
So-
usually drive? Is it local?
well, so
or-
that one of my primary ones, it sometimes out of state, but mostly everything would be in Texas, where I'm gone early that morning and back that evening. Once a month, of an average, I would hit anywhere between Georgia, sometimes South Carolina, or even a little closer, Arizona.
Use a broker or?
So no, I try to avoid that part.
Okay.
These are things that I've built up to where it's direct from them to me, and I send my own envoys, and
There you go.
you don't have to wait 30 days to get payments. I have done loads through the broker, and then if it comes down to it, if I'm getting to where I need to really, that's a part of it. I'll go through several of them,
Yeah.
and with the load board, but most of those payments are at least 30 days after. So
You don't want to sell that invoice either, do you? Yeah.
go, my.
I don't.
So, but I think my stuff can work out. I if I have to get out, I need to get out and hustle and just find some different contracts. That's a part of the business.
Right.
And some of the emails, well, I guess all the emails that I've sent out, I haven't got any response trying to pick up anything. But that's trucking.
Yeah.
That's going to work out.
I'm in that business, and I'm gonna tell you what, when you sit down and you start talking to people and you realize, I have to bring it to their attention a lot of times, but everything that you touch was touched by a truck.
The
Everything.
most accurate statement.
Everything
yes, sir.
that you can touch was touched by a truck.
Yep.
Now, you might go out into the garden and pick a tomato, and okay, that one wasn't. But if you go to the store
Yep.
and pick you up a tomato, that was
Well,
touched by a truck.
Those seeds probably got
Well, that's true,
transported
yeah.
too.
The seed, yeah, absolutely.
We live next door to Brookshire's in Athens, and
There's always
Plenty
trucks
of
going in
coming
there.
by.
Yep.
Plenty of
Frito Lay and all that.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
trucks, in front,
absolutely.
in the back,
Mm-hmm.
everywhere.
That's crazy.
What, you mentioned Heather Little a few minutes ago. I didn't hear her perform this song, and, it's weird how certain songs it's immediate burst of emotion.
Mhm.
And you never know where or why it comes from. But I heard Stephen Prigmore play Razor Wire
Mm-hmm.
at Green Goat Winery one time, and so I'm sitting here. It's outside, weather's good, and Melissa's over there, and every now and then I'll do this, and I can remember a couple of times. One was at a Styx concert, and I don't know if it's the music, the words, the combination, but at some point I just leaned forward and set up, paid attention, and it's hard for me to hear it a lot of times, so I'm watching him sing and really trying to focus on the words. And I went up to him. I think he took a break right after that. I was sobbing. I mean, I wasn't misty-eyed. I was like, I had never heard that
It hit
song.
you. It hit you.
He said,
Been there.
He was trying, I don't know, but I said, that song did something to me, for me, with me, and I've listened to it, you know, her singing it as well, and it's kind of an eerie, I still don't know what it is, but I can't listen to it without.
Is it the
literally
words?
bawling.
Is it the words or the music?
It's both. It's because I don't know all the words.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, even if you don't know the words, you pick up enough, or I do, to create a scene in my head of what might be going on or how it might relate to my life.
Mhm.
And the ability, I guess, to do that is
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
The music is doing what it's supposed to do for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if I see Stephen playing, I said, "Hey, you gonna do Razor Wire?" Because
I need to get my
I need to
Kleenex.
prepare for it.
Harry's moved off. I haven't seen her do it, but I bawled when she did it. When I watched her do it on YouTube, I bawled
wow.
again.
Wow.
But
I might
it
have to look at that one.
Music truly is amazing. The one for Styx is, I think I had heard this song, but again, it was at a concert and we were sitting on the lawn at Fair Park, and they started playing this deal. Now and I was with my wife, had friends invited. You know, you had 8 people lined up, and all of a sudden,
Focus.
you know, it's watch, you know, and listening, and tears start bawling again, and Bliss was like, "What's wrong with you?" But
It hit.
And
I
you
don't
know
know what
what?
to tell
It
you.
does. It does. I'm gonna tell. I've been there. Been there.
you didn't bring your guitar, did you?
I didn't.
Okay.
But I'm gonna say something cool to you, and I guess maybe I can accredit it to just getting a little bit understanding more. But I remember you can almost feel like an energy transfer, and there was some people that I met early on, and they notice over the years, you know, when they're at your show, it almost heightens the feeling I get right off the bat.
Mhm.
You know, you can tell that there's certain persons at your show, right? Y'all have always had that. Always. Wind Down, both of the theaters in Athens. But it used to be limited. And I never tried to, and even now I don't try to figure out why. I know what I'm feeling when certain people are at the show. But it used to be more limited. Now it seems like those numbers have grown, where it's more of you
Yeah,
guys.
that's awesome.
And it just makes us feel, every audience is great, but you almost have like the top chess piece. You can tell when they're at your show. Y'all have been that at every show y'all have come to.
One thing we do is we go see a lot of people play, and we're there for the music,
Mm-hmm.
and versus there for just the meal or something. Oh, there's somebody playing.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I always, and this, Melissa gets on to me sometimes. You know, when they go back and forth with the crowd, or try to, and you know nobody, you know, everybody's eating or something, and I'll holler out, you know, back. She said, I said, he's trying to interact with the crowd. I gotta help him out.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And,
See?
But yeah, I,
Quit yelling at him, Paul. Paul Wayne.
you're just hoping he'll call you up on stage to sing something. I forget the words anyway. So, but no, it's I appreciate that because we're always paying attention to the music. Is what I'm trying to say.
And that, for us, we're always finding those few people
you
that we
spot
give a
couple
little,
that-
a little bit, because okay, that foot's tapping.
Yeah.
He's feeling it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't hide that. You cannot hide that emotion. It. I think it's all beautiful. Whether it's a sad emotion, if you're crying, or if you're smiling, but I can tell when somebody's feeling it.
Yeah, we're almost everywhere we are. We're there for the music. So, and you know, the meal or whatever is.
Secondary, or,
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah,
you know,
we eat
got some
well.
good food, good, good whatever. And
You do a great Purple Rain.
how many years have we been? I can't even. If I don't close, which I've there has been more shows. The last tour I really did it because it was every 3 each week.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do Purple Rain every closing show. We've been closing with that for so long.
Yeah.
And it's our way. It's different than what Prince does, but that's a Prince song, but everyone loves it.
Oh, they do.
I think a lot of that hits you, it's also just the vibration of what that song is. Because the vibrations enter you, and it's a channel, and it hits
So-
something in you.
Here's a difficulty that I have with music, is I try to take things literal, or that's the first way it comes in. So, does Purple Rain mean anything? What is Purple Rain?
Spirituality.
Okay. Purple.
That was
being-
before I knew. Well, purple's my favorite color too.
Okay. It's a great color.
Before I knew Prince's actual meaning of how he wrote that song, the actual lyrics, and let me tell you this as a secondary part of a songwriter, it doesn't matter what that song means to me when I write it.
Right.
I know the official meaning,
Right.
but however you guys take it, that answer is correct too. So I didn't know the literal meaning of Purple Rain of all the years. I'm the baby of 5 sisters. 4 are still here on earth, and 3 I really grew up with, and they were all Bad Company, Prince, White Snake, you know. But there was a lot of Prince that I grew up with, Michael Jackson stuff. So I liked him for a long time, but Purple Rain never did stand out to me. And as a kid growing up, it's always been music.
Yeah.
Purple Rain didn't stand out to me. One of my cousins, we call her Hope. Her name is Selena. That's one of her favorite songs. She used to say, "You got to learn Purple Rain." And I also had another friend of mine. His name's Jimmy, nicknamed him Badass Bailey. He used to push that for me to start doing it. So I started doing it just to appease the crowd. It's all about selling the show back then.
There you go.
Well, I learned it, and it took a while to really learn the lyrics all the way through. We would play the show just to, and I used to read lyrics from a stand. I try to coach everybody out of it now because it becomes a crutch. But
It does.
man, I'll say after about a couple of years of us really, really getting good with the song and me actually going back and trying to learn more of Prince's solo, it got to where if we didn't close with it,
You're in trouble.
you're not done. We got to hear Purple Rain, encore, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess 5 or 6 years ago, I read something maybe on social media to where someone shared Prince's reasoning and what that song actually meant. But then it all really makes sense then because it's something spiritual. I was gonna tell a story, but I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Sam Dean. The most recent podcast I went on, he does Van Zant Coffee and all. If you guys are coffee drinkers, he's right down the road.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And but since we're doing a podcast, I'm gonna find that episode and I'm gonna share it with you
Okay.
because have you heard it by any chance?
No, I have not.
Can I change roles just for a second and
Absolutely.
ask you a question?
I have put that in.
What do you think cocaine and whiskey is about? I know you heard it several times.
Yeah. To me, the simplest version would be that trouble with some sort of substance that affected your life more and more negatively that you had to kind of overcome and dig your way out of, more or less.
So in the lyrics of the song, what do you think caused that?
That woman you was talking to on the phone.
Man,
One more line.
good ear.
I wouldn't have picked up on that without seeing the video.
Yeah.
Again, I get, without sitting and reading the lyrics, a slow reader and everything, but watching the video, yeah, relationship type stuff.
Did she drive you to that? I guess that would be my question. Did that relationship drive you to the whiskey and the cocaine?
We're gonna watch it one more time before we go.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be
Okay.
off of this.
Okay.
But like I said, I was gonna go ahead and tell that. I guess the story is still, I guess, kind of sacred to me. Very, very emotional story, and the way that podcast lined up, I was able to tell it. It's probably hard to say it now, but I will share with both of you guys that podcast.
Okay.
But to answer your question, no. In the majority, I don't think anybody has ever, if I'm not drawing a blank, I don't think anyone, again, and everybody's, what they get from it, it's correct. But the actual story, I don't think anybody was able to pick up on a couple of cues of what that song's really, what it's about. But that's also the way I wrote back then. You have a story that literally means something. There's symbolism, there's also a metaphor that pulls you to another subject. So we'll look at it and then
Okay,
I'll point it out to you.
that'll be interesting.
But I wanted to ask you, because you've been to a lot of shows. I wanted to ask you what the literal meaning of it to you was. So
Again,
that says a lot. That's a part of the song. The cocaine and whiskey is a part of the song. That was, I say, young and dumb, of living really fast, very fast success, never really becoming dependent on the drug aspect. There was a time where I suffered and was like a short-term alcoholic. There was a death of a very, very close friend that did that. It was the first time I ever drank beer in front of my mom because I passed out on the couch, on the chair, with a half-open beer in a cooler. I never, and even to this day, I won't drink alcohol, just a respect thing. But all of that to say, there never was a drug dependency. But there was a time in my life where all of that stuff was accessible, and that's the way we thought we were supposed to live as hardcore musicians.
You know what? I had a friend back in Lake Dallas. It was my daughter's. That's how I met him. I'm not going to mention his name, but he played with ZZ Top.
Mm-hmm. Little old man from Texas.
He was playing some of the clubs and stuff, and he met a lady that he really fell in love with, and he gave it up. He gave it up.
I went to
Wow.
karaoke last week in Tyler, little club, bar thingy, and just me and Melissa were sitting there. We had a drink and waiting for him to get started, and then it got started, and I sang, and things started opening up with the karaoke guy, and he liked the song that I sang, and then I sang another one, and he started coming over and talking to us, and he knew Stevie Ray, he knew, played with, all the Dallas guys, he knew Craig Wallace, he's all that stuff, and then he got talking to us a little longer and told me a Freddie Fender story. And he said, that gal right there behind the bar, met her 19 years ago. She got me off cocaine and
Hadn't touched it
straightened my
since.
shit out. And,
There you go.
So,
Perfect alignment.
Yeah.
Needed that.
yep.
Someone that you don't hear too much about, I think his son still plays, but Daryl Bramhall.
Oh yeah, his son. His son still plays.
playing, yeah. He grew up, Daryl, the dad was the same, hung around with my brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a lot of good credit. I think talking about getting off of cocaine and stuff, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've learned about him and Stevie, I think he's the one that encouraged Stevie early on, I think.
Yeah.
Which I know they co-wrote Tightrope, and a lot of that is about getting over addiction.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doyle was. I learned about him after, and then had such a huge respect for him.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Stevie Ray song, Tightrope.
Tightrope.
I mean, I literally, so sometimes, Melissa will be listening to her podcast or whatever, or reading a book, and I'll be listening to my deal on headphones and I'm driving. She'll be looking over because on those guitar solos, I mean, it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing this, and because remember Craig Wallace telling me, it's not how many notes you play, it's what you do with the notes you do play. And, somebody hangs on a single note for, however, and it's electrifying. And she's looking at me, listen to Stevie.
You ready for another story about that song?
Yeah.
Senior year in high school, it was football season. Football season. So it had to be the year 2000, late in the year, probably around November or December, I think.
Okay. So football season, years
Had to be, yeah. So in the jazz band that I was in, which Rob Toops was the band director, and he's also a mentor. I've said his name countless times. Everyone, always can accredit a lot of our success musically from the Kenton High School band. So my senior year, he brought in junior year too. He brought in what we call memory charts. The very first time I sang in front of a crowd, one of the tunes that he brought in, which featured more guitar, he would play Stevie Ray Vaughan my whole junior year on a loudspeaker when school was almost out because he heard something in me. And I was just the same 3 or 4 licks. I was trying to pick up SRV. So senior year, we brought in Tightrope, and I sang it.
Really?
Couldn't hear myself after the first, caught up in a whirlwind, because we're in a gym, and we don't have our normal $2,500 sound company there.
Yeah.
So I'm singing and we're playing, and I know my solo, but I can't hear myself singing because the gym is so loud.
Yeah.
But that's also it's not my favorite. I don't have just one. See how excited I'm getting.
Yeah.
I don't have just one favorite SRV song, but that is one of the top ones to this day. And like you said, that guitar solo,
amazing.
It's fierce. You can tell it's someone that was able to appreciate that. Man, those drugs had me. Like I was gone, and you can feel him walking that tightrope and just pulling out all the layers and making himself whole again. And I love that song.
I karaoke once. I try to pick my karaoke songs wisely, with not too much instrumental. So I just stand up there. I can't dance. And then you kind of doing whatever I would do, in the car. I mean, it's
You let it flow through you.
Yeah.
I think I've heard you sing, and I think I've complimented you singing once, right?
Yeah.
It seems like I have. Yeah.
Yep. Did you remember who I always shout out? Every now and then when you're doing, just
like an
something
acoustic set?
Yeah, you'll shout, "Hey, anybody want to hear?" Or you do the
do a number.
So I'm going to ask you about that, but sometimes you'll say, "Anybody got a request?" Everybody. You remember what I shout out?
What did you?
Freddie King.
You know what song where were we playing? Crystal Beach. This was, where were we at? July 15th, 16th, somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think we played Crystal Beach the last weekend before the July 4th weekend. So June 30th somewhere. One of my old former students, good friend of mine, him and his wife were celebrating their anniversary, and he requested Going Down.
Okay.
And we did it the old school Freddie King way. I
Really?
was Calvin, I gotta have you on. So we're probably gonna bring that song back to the set list. I don't know what Freddie King song you always wanted, but that's one that
anything Freddie.
that and Hideaway and have you ever loved a woman? I've done that one, but there's that third verse. I usually get confused sometimes with the second and third, so I need to learn the verses. And Tore Down,
Yeah.
we've started doing that more. I love
Big
Freddie
Woman.
King. Yes.
Do you remember a big karaoke guy, Larry? Larry, he did it at the Trace a long time. Big guy.
I think I do. There were so many of them, but I think the
Yeah.
Larry karaoke sounds familiar.
I had him over to the house, and I paid him because the only Freddie King that anybody ever had on karaoke that I was able to find was, Larry had kind of the massive library of stuff. He didn't have it like it wasn't available. He had Tore Down, and that was really it. But he made 4 or 5 karaoke versions of his stuff that I've got. I guess I'm the only guy that's got them.
That's pretty neat.
To some people. Now I wish I could sing them, but
That's pretty neat. You got that though.
I do got them. So I need to pass them on to some karaoke guys, I guess. But and just like, it's just August of whatever year, and then September he got COVID and died, and I didn't even know about it.
See, I might have heard about that too.
But a month or two, or maybe even more later.
After the fact,
Yeah.
because that was such a crazy time.
Yeah, it really was.
But I want to say I do know that name. It kind of goes with Was it Larry Karaoke? That's what he
called it Larryoke.
or Larryoke. Yeah.
But his, lived over at Cedar Creek. He did a lot of stuff over there. But
That's where I was about to bring that up. It was in Cedar Creek.
Yeah. What you working on now?
Live
So
album.
you were just
Live.
in Crystal Beach. So how much traveling are y'all doing?
We toured in April and was way more busier than what I expected all the way through June.
Okay.
But we did our last tour show in April. We did that live recording at Moore Store.
Okay.
And one take, just raw.
Mm-hmm.
And selected certain songs that I wanted to record, some original, some ones that we used to do that are obscure, that tells that part of the story.
Yeah.
And this is the week, and then I got next week as well, to where I need to take all my notes to what we're gonna pick, what songs we're gonna take out of I think we did a total of 19 songs,
Okay.
and we'll take as many as we can that are workable to tweak in the studio.
So this is
And
new stuff?
Some of it's songs we've done over the years. Nothing's newly written on it.
I get you.
But it's different versions of the songs.
Okay.
And then I'll be able to follow up with another single or something not long after it, that's never happened. With the music part of it, and as you climb the ladder, no one really knows the rules. Some guys were picked up enough to where, okay, well, they got to sign with this company and they went off. Some guys had instant success and it didn't last but a year.
Yeah.
But I don't think any of us knows the rules. Some of us can get information from different guys, but what I've learned over the years and what I've never been able to do is release an album and have funds already available to follow it up. Well,
Yeah.
another album.
Oh, another album. Okay.
And I've only done one live album, but it was more of a live EP, and that was the early days of probably early 2000s. We did a makeshift recording.
Mm-hmm.
So to end the Peace, Love, and Unity Tour, Part 2, we did that live album recording, and I think every song that needs to go on there, it should be anywhere between, I'll say 9 to 11, and then that'll be our live album. But I will be able to at least release, I'll have new music coming after that. I've never been able to do that for my whole career.
That's awesome.
So that's going to be fun.
Still building momentum.
Constantly building. And the older my son gets, which,
See a player?
okay, the one instrument, which when you brought this up, I laughed. I've had the worst luck with drummers. I don't know why. I play drums myself.
Yeah.
I think you saw the Seek the Peace show a couple of times, didn't you? When I was on drums,
I've never
Heather.
seen you on drums.
You never saw it? Okay. I can almost see you guys out there. But that is, I've been through so many drummers over the years. And it's not all their fault. A lot of it's me. I wouldn't say it's not all their fault. That is, when he was born and trying to be a better parent, I always say I would not make him or force him on anything. And in the back of my mind, I was always saying to myself, good Lord, I hope he doesn't start playing drums. Which is the easiest thing to teach a child when you're driving 4 hours from a vacation coming in from Galveston. So I teach him how to get on beat, which he naturally is, that's natural in him. And learning how to count, which also goes back towards percussion as well. Mm-hmm. Well, to say all of that, I've put him on stage with me just so he can air guitar, and I want him to kind of feel it, and it's usually too loud for him. The one instrument that I think he's going to probably, which I don't know if he's going to excel at it, but I signed him up for percussion for 6th grade band and shit. He'll strum on my guitar a little bit, but here's what I've learned that I don't say too much to him. He has an ear. He's able to know the artist from the sound that he makes when he sings, and he's able to match some of those pitches. That makes me really happy. But I have to contain that part.
Yeah.
So he may be a natural harmony or lead singer too.
No, that's cool.
There you go.
Did they still start in Canton? Did they still start band in 5th grade?
6th grade.
6th grade.
Now, I may be wrong on this. I know when I was in elementary, they started some of them. What's that little plastic thing?
Oh, the
Recorder.
Recorder.
Yeah.
they still do that.
Right, yeah.
But 6th grade is the first.
Yeah, when I was
First
there,
thing.
that's what put me ahead, because
Heck yeah, fifth grade.
I had all of 5th grade and first part of 6th, and we moved off. Ended up going to school in Dallas for a year and didn't do anything. But then 7th and 8th, I was in Garland, and I just picked back up and was in band in the 7th and 8th, and that's what it's like. My year with reading music put me ahead of some other people, and like I said, then I got stuck on the timpanis and the bells,
And
that sort of stuff.
that, you know, I guess your mind didn't like it as much then.
No, I
But-
didn't. I didn't. No, at the time, you know, I was just wanting to do snare, and you know, and we actually did incorporate. Some guy was pretty good. He was older and had a trap set, and they were actually working on the corporate. It's like, man, I got.
Yeah. Yep. Got the set. Some of the top players, that's what they end up playing is timpani, because they got an
Right.
ear,
Yeah.
and you know they can do the quick tuning.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was watching a video the other day about it was the Genesis's guitar player, Phil Collins' guitar player, was being interviewed by a guy. You know, he started playing the opening to boom, 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 boom. What?
I can feel it.
Yeah.
In there tonight.
Calling in the air. Yeah, and you know, he was playing that, and he said, talking about how he got hired with Genesis and all this sort of stuff, and he said they were always asking, because there was no sheet music with Genesis. Everything was pretty much by ear, and they were always asking, like, he said, "Where's one?" I was like, "We don't know if we were playing it. This song's in 8, 9 times, or you know, something like that." And he was
Yeah.
like, "Where's one at?" He said,
Yeah.
"Where do you actually start?" And he said, "Once you get past that," I was like, "Okay." But they would look at each other and go,
And it worked out for that time because they had some creative music.
Oh, man, I'm telling you.
"That was."
I like me some.
Phil was a
Collins.
great drummer too.
Oh, I'm
I
telling
was,
you.
gonna, I
Is.
was thinking about
He's still with us.
Now, last
Singer
time I've seen
drummers.
him, he just sat on a stool.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
really
I think his son was actually playing the drums now.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's even physically able to
No.
play drums now. But
He's in bed, but he can still sing. He was sitting on a stool, but he was
I
singing.
tried to karaoke some Phil Collins stuff before, and you know,
gotta get
when I
up
go,
there.
I walk back to the table, and Melissa's like,
You ain't gotta ask how I did.
"She's honest. She's honest. She sounds really good, but I come back and just scratch that off the list."
You ready for this curveball?
Yeah.
He was the drummer on that BB King and Friends episode.
Really?
I think
Really?
they shot it on HBO. Yeah. Oh, and he's a southpaw. I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he played
Oh,
left
he
hand.
is?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
But he is the drummer on that video. How cool is that? It was an
Yeah.
all-star cast.
That was cool.
That's back in the day when, now this will date me, but it was called Mad Dog and Englishman. Leon Russell, Rita Coolidge, Joe Cocker. Oh, wow. Delta Lady, man, I'm gonna tell you, that's one of my favorite albums. Leon Russell he could tear it up.
Another writer, singer, and a musician right
Yep.
there.
Yep. Chris Christopherson.
Oh, one of my favorite writers.
Okay. I'm not gonna say it. He can't sing worth a shit.
No, you can say it. I think he knew it. You know,
He had to.
why me, Lord? You know,
I was sitting there watching the deal. In fact, it was probably a couple of weeks ago. It was on YouTube, and he was singing with Rita Coolidge, and they were singing, and they were real close, and she was smiling. But I knew what she was thinking. I knew exactly what she was. Shut up. Turn the
man.
volume down. No. So that's one of the things that always, I'm not going to say it was a trouble because I don't let things trouble me that much, but how someone like that can get up there and sing, and you know that there's somebody that's sitting on that street corner that can sing 10 times better than them, and they just,
Yeah. Every
Didn't get
musician that's
it.
made it there's what, 10 or 100 or
yeah. There's a
1,000 out there that
oh
are,
yeah.
there's a janitor from Austin, Texas, that can outplay any guitar player that ever came through. That has been that way for years.
Yeah.
It's so true.
That was my brother.
Mhm.
I mean, he got a couple of, he had a couple of contracts out of Nashville, but nothing really. They just took advantage of him. He was too wrapped up in the music portion of it to really understand. He needed a manager. He needed somebody that could go up there and slap somebody around and tell them, that you're not going to do that, because he got taken advantage of.
The shrewd part of the music business is that's probably some of the hardest part. And if I had a nickel for being asked, man, how come you ain't made it big yet? If I had a nickel, I'd probably have quite a bit to pay off a truck.
Yeah.
Who know. But you have to realize and understand that it's almost like sports. If you look at it that way, it's almost like making it to the NBA or the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's a small percent to get hit college.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a smaller percent to even get drafted. But I can't do it for that. I think I'm blessed to be around some musicians. We talked about family earlier, and one of my all-time most favorite human beings, as a father, as a leader of a family, but also a legend steel guitar player who basically saved my music career when Calvin did take off for about a year. He helped bring in some musicians that kept WPB rolling, and he introduced me to Curtis Randall, who's a Grammy-winning bass player, and you got John Martinez, who was the drummer for a while, another Grammy nominee, Grammy winner drummer. Junior Knight is who I'm talking about.
Plays a steel guitar.
Texas steel guitar legend.
Last time we saw you at the Texan, he was there. Y'all had a cool.
It's a
back
cool
and forth.
dynamic, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one of the families that kind of how it is. I'm going to say this, like just getting to meet you for the first time. You can almost tell. Oh, I can't wait to have coffee with you. Those like this conversation. It's going to be just a good time. So when I get to visit with anybody in the family, Shannon, that's his daughter Shelby. But getting to sit with him and his wife Saran, that I needed those stories and that encouragement that they probably didn't know they were giving me, and just being able to be in their presence, getting to spend time with them. Also with Rob Toops, other names that I won't have to name, but especially with him, he said something that made me make the decision about, dude, you didn't learn balance in therapy just to learn the word. Mm-hmm. He toured a lot. He has a Grammy for a reason. And he did a lot of time on the road. And you know what happened? He lost a lot of time with the kids, with his family. And hearing him say, if he had to, would it be different that second time? His family, like that is the most important. And when he says it, I could feel it the way I feel his notes on a steel guitar. His family is the most important thing to him in the world. And he feels so blessed that he still gets to have time with them because he missed so much time on the road. I'm glad to get those lessons. I might have missed my one and only shot of being that point whatever percent to have a very prestigious music career where you're known all over the world. I might have missed it. I have time with my son. I have time with my older daughter. I made decisions with her when she was younger. When before I was actually really, like a dad to her. Mm-hmm. I don't have any regrets with the decisions that I've made over time to choose family, because I have missed a lot. I've missed a lot of family functions, and I've missed things with my youngest, but it's been from balance now. I also think if it's really meant for me, because I'm giving it all I have. I may not be working 24 hours or 18 hours out of a day to make it happen. I use the word balance again, sure. But I'm still paying dues, and I know as long as I'm able to put feet in front of the other and can have a good head on my shoulders, I'm going to be playing music till I can't do it. If it's meant for me to keep climbing the way we are, everybody's season is different. Thankfully, I know that now. If it's going to happen to where we get over the hump that I haven't been over, awesome. I'll be ready mentally for it. I'll be ready for it in every way. I'm hoping we're playing worldwide shows in the next few years, because we are trying. This is the first time that I've actually been able to say I'm serious about trying to get contacts overseas. And I know someone that's going to be able to, hey, this is a person that can probably be your promoter or help you book. Yeah. And I can do it now because my kid's older. So it's going to happen. Yeah. But wherever this does take me, I am extremely happy with it.
You're still a young man.
And there are a lot of those guys that at least some of us have talked about that didn't really get the recognition until way past 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy Guy is one of them. But I will love it when I'm doing it, and I love it. So get to keep rolling with it.
Yeah.
Keep on rolling.
I'd say, what do they say? How do you eat an elephant?
One bite.
One bite at a time.
Wesley Pruitt, thanks for being on the podcast, brother.
Thanks for having me.
It was,
This has been a beautiful day with both of you guys.
It's been a lot of fun. And where do you want to send people to learn about you, hear you? Where should they go?
WesleyPruittBandMusic.com.
Wesley Band.
WesleyPruittBandMusic.com. Most of the shows are up to date. There's always been more shows added. There's a merch store that I guess I've slacked on that because I don't have merch online, but I've been in between merch for a while because I want something to be what we're gonna take again on where we're doing more road shows. But that tells you where the shows are, and whatever that needs to be learned between now and then, we have the power beneath our fingertips. There's nothing you can't find out about anybody.
You're right about that. Last thing before we go, you mentioned your drummer and Smiley. Is that what?
Mikey Smiley Mims. Love that boy.
He's fun to watch.
He's
fun to
always
watch.
smiling.
He is always smiling, and
Great vocalist.
he is.
I'm trying to get him to lead a
I
song.
love a singer, drummer.
I'm trying to get him to lead a song.
Really?
All of these visions that I've had, and I can tell they're coming to fruition. I usually always have 2-part harmony.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin has taken vocal lessons, and he just from 8 months ago to now, he is constantly just working his butt off. He's been the last person to start singing.
Really?
And he's a person that usually can't play and chew gum at the same time. That's truth about him. But he is putting in overtime, and he's able to hit notes that are more round, and having that 3-part harmony. Once it's there,
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
yeah,
You know it.
yeah. But yeah, Smiley is great musician all the way around.
Yeah. Is he from Canton as well? Is it
Both of
kinda
them
everybody
are from Tyler. I'm the Canton homeboy.
Okay.
We're all East Texans, so and more stores our home show.
There you go.
All right. We appreciate it. Hey, check out the Wesley Pruitt Band whenever you get a chance.
They're going to be at Moore Store on July the 26th.
Yes,
July the 26th, 2025.
so ready.
We'll see you there.
Thanks for having me.
Wesley.